Well, it took a while to get here, but we finally are making some progress with the FJ Cruiser. First, we had a lingering check engine light issue. Then we had several delays on production and shipment of several items that I needed for the project due to COVID. And then we also had a mad rush locally to get winter tires installed, which set me back slightly as well, but we're finally making some progress with the FJ. First off, I went with another set of the Goodyear Wrangler Duratracks, and I almost went with something different on this project just because I've already got these on the Tacoma. I thought it'd be kind of fun to have something different, but then I decided that didn't really make sense because I love these tires on the Tacoma. I think that they look awesome. They've had great performance, excellent traction. So why would I mess with a good thing? So I went with another set of the Goodyear Wrangler Duratracks, and I've been very pleased with them so far. I will admit that I really wanted to go with a set of 3 1570 R17s. I feel like all the best FJ Cruisers out there have them, but I wasn't sure that I wanted to go down that black hole of expense and projects. With the 315s, there's a good chance you're going to be doing upper control arms, a chance of lower control arms. You're probably going to need to re-gear. You're going to have a lot of rubbing issues. And on top of all of that, dismal fuel economy, dismal ride quality, and there's a chance when you're off-roading, you're flexing really hard, you're still going to be rubbing. So as much as I wanted to go with the 315s, I decided it wasn't the wise option here. So I went with a set of the 295/70 R17s, just a little bit bigger than what I've got on the Tacoma, and they look awesome. For wheels, I went with a set of SCS SR8s. These are a 17-inch with a -10 offset. I really had a debate on whether to go with the black or the gunmetal. I actually put a poll up on my YouTube channel asking for your guys' input on this, and 54% of respondents said to go with the black, 46% said to go with the gunmetal. In this case, the popular vote didn't win. The Electoral College won out. I was the swing state. I was heavily leaning toward the gunmetal, and 54% wasn't enough to convince me otherwise, and I think that the gunmetal looks really awesome with the silver on the FJ. Now, I've also had to make a number of other changes to the FJ since my last upload. If you guys remember when I first lifted it, there was a pretty serious lean going on in the back. The Bilstein 6112s that I've got up front were originally set at the number 6 and number 4 clips. I dropped those to the number 4 and number 2 clips, and I still had a lean going on. So I also added a 1-inch spacer lift in the rear. Now, the weird thing about that all is that before I did anything to the FJ, it had a pretty serious rake going on. With the number 6 and number 4 clips in the front, you should be getting 2.2 inches of lift, and then with the B12s in the back, you should be getting 1.5 inches. So worst case scenario, I would have expected it to sit level and maybe even still have a little bit of a rake. According to the numbers, now with the number 4, number 2 in the front, I've got 1.5 inches of lift in the front. With the B12s and a 1-inch spacer in the rear, I'm sitting at 2.5 inches of lift. So 1.5, 2.5. Before I started this project, it had a rake on it, and now it's sitting pretty much level. Doesn't really make sense to me, but it does look good the way it's set up. Now, before I end today's video, I do have one last question for you guys, and that is the side step. Should they stay or should they go? Now, I've gotten a lot of flack on these side steps since I bought the FJ Cruiser. They were on it when I got it, and they looked pretty ridiculous with the stock wheels and tires because they were so small. They really kind of jut out from the side, but now with the new wheels and tires, I feel like they blend in a little bit better. In some ways, I feel like they kind of have a good look to them. And so I'm debating on whether to keep them or not. I was thinking about getting a set of sliders, almost bought a set during Black Friday, and just wasn't really sure if I wanted to spend the money on them, and also I wasn't sure if they were gonna look any better. In some ways I feel like they look really cool, really rugged. In some ways I feel like they look a little bit tacky. So I decided to hold off for now. The reality is I'm not planning on doing any rock crawling with the FJ, so I don't really need them from that standpoint. But occasionally, if I'm out in the forest and if there's a fallen tree that I drive over, there's a chance they could offer some protection to the body. The thing is, I feel like these kind of do the same thing. They're not really designed to support the weight of the vehicle, yet at the same time, if there's some sort of an obstacle that I hit one time, they're probably going to protect the body. If that happens and they get damaged, pull them off and we're good to go. So, you know, in some ways I feel like I should just stick with what I've got here. It's money saved that I can spend on something else, but then at the same time, there's this little piece of me that feels like they look a little tacky and they're not something that I would have bought myself, you know, from the onset. So, not real sure. I'd love to get your guys' input on that. I've also got a number of other projects planned for the FJ, so number of items sitting in the garage, several more on order, so I've got a lot coming. Really wanted to get the lift kit, wheels and tires dialed in first, but now that we've got those done, a lot more fun to come. To stay up to date on that progress, be sure to subscribe. If you enjoyed today's video, give me a thumbs up. In the meantime, thanks for watching.